people could see it as two men competing against each other, or you could see it as two men within the same house getting stronger and pushing each other to become stronger. If you can't motivate yourself to do it, fuck you. It's the way I feel. What goes around comes around. You want to be a little jerk, people are going to treat you like one. Maybe they just want the working class to stay the working class. Maybe they don't want people like him opening his mouth. I think he's dangerous to what people want to purport in the society. 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, women have decided whether they're going to have sex with you before the date. They really have. Oh, there's one tip. There's one tip that overrules absolutely everything.
This is 60 minutes of brutal uncensored truth from Tristan Tate. He doesn't mince words, and that's why this video can change your mindset forever. Enjoy.
What advice would you give to people who are just like chronic procrastinators? They're just not taking action.
Yeah, the advice is very simple. I have the perfect piece of advice for them. It's have fun staying poor. Have fun staying poor. You're never going to make it. I don't care. Because if you can't look at your Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should get into shape. If you can't look at my Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should make some money. And you literally, with all the inspiration shoved in your face nowadays, me and you are sitting in this luxury apartment in Dubai overlooking the ocean. Like, this is what we do. If you can't watch people like us, if you're watching this podcast and think I need to do something and you're a procrastinator, good. I don't care. Have fun staying broke. Because like you said, I need someone to wash my cars. I need people like you. So not everyone can make it to the top, and there's no help for those people who can't motivate themselves. If you can't pay your bills, it's hard to pay your rent, you're eating the crappiest food, you're driving the crappiest car, all the beautiful women in the world don't look at you, you can't afford any nice clothing, and you're sitting around thinking, just a few more hours playing Fortnite, then that's your station in life, and enjoy it. People don't see the work. Me and Andrew, we're in good shape. I don't post training videos and, fitness progress videos. I just do the work and let the results speak for itself. But in terms of money and in terms of business and success, that's Andrew. Everyone's like, well, how does he have all this money? Maybe he's a criminal, So how does he have all this money? I know why he has all this money. Because he's sitting right there at that desk at least 10 hours a day, even when we're not on house arrest. He'll be out in the evenings having his fun. And that's what we'll show to the world. This whole, hey, look at me, I'm at my laptop and I'm going to grind away for 6 hours. No one wants to see that on Instagram. No one wants to see that on social media. It's boring. They want to see you driving the Bugatti with a cigar in your mouth and a beautiful girl next to you. But that doesn't come without sitting at that desk for a good while first. I said this to one kid. I said, you shouldn't waste your time playing video games. And he hit me with this stupid response. He went, PewDiePie plays video games. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars. I said, PewDiePie is not a video game player. PewDiePie is a presenter. He is a presenter, he's an entertainer, he's charismatic, he's smart, he's sharp, he's funny, he's a comedian. You can play video games just as well as him and you will be poor forever. It's not about his video game playing ability. It's about how he markets himself. So yeah, self-marketing is his talent more than anything else. Well, yeah, it's the old saying of, you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. That's older than the internet. That saying it predates the internet. But essentially it means the 5 people who influence you the most. And if you do live alone, or if you don't have many friends, or you don't have a big group of people, what you're watching and what you're listening to influences you massively. So yeah, cut the crap out. Exactly the same with a healthy diet. It influences your health. A healthy mind is exactly the same thing. Scrolling up and down Netflix, watching trash all day is not going to get you anywhere in life, literally, ever. Whereas, you might hear a piece of advice in a podcast, in this podcast, that makes you wake up and think, I actually need to get my shit in order. So yeah, be careful what influences you. Let me tell you a good story about being kind to waiters and bartenders, especially in the city that you live in. It's an investment. It's an investment to throw money around. I do it here in Dubai because I spend a lot of time here. I certainly do it in Bucharest. I was on a date with a Romanian celebrity. I'm not going to name drop her here, but famous girl, a few million followers on Instagram, etc. And the lights had gone out in the garden of one of the fanciest restaurants in town. So obviously being one of the fanciest restaurants in town, they put a bunch of candles on every table. So I was sitting there as the waiter was pouring our champagne. I said to the girl, I said, you know what, I specially organized this. I called my friends at the electricity company. I had them shut down the power grid just so we could have candles tonight. And she goes, hi, all right, Tristan, yeah, where's my flowers? As a blasé comment, because she knew I was joking. She knew I was bullshitting. The waiter, good friend of mine, had been pouring the champagne, overheard this. No joke, 2 minutes later, he comes over with the biggest bouquet of flowers he must have taken from behind the, from behind the restaurant.
Mr. Tate, here are the flowers you ordered. And I sat there, straight face, ice cold, sip my champagne. 10 minutes later, I was like, you'll have to excuse me. I get up. I was just like, my man! I was like, no way! Did you just do that? So, and why? Why? Because I'm rude to waiters? Because I didn't get to know his name? Right. I've been eating at that restaurant for 2 years before that. I throw money around, I tip well. He knew exactly who I was. So, you know, being kind to people pays dividends. Not only is it, do women notice it, because they really do. Yeah. But, you know, the staff notice it and they treat you better. And being treated with respect around women is a huge turn on for women. Mr. Tate, how are you? Oh, let me just clear this parking spot. Sorry, we have no tables. Let me just put one out for you. Right. That's a huge turn on for women. And you know, you get that respect by being kind.
By the way, hit the like button and follow my YouTube channel because I already work on the next video like this.
Maybe what are some strengths and things he does that the rest of the world doesn't see that you know?
Andrew is the hardest working man I've ever met. Even with the lifestyle he lives now, and as fun as it looks, and it is fun, and all the fun shit we do is real. Even if we are in a luxury hotel in the south of France, we're paying $10,000 per room, Andrew will be up at 7 o'clock in that hotel gym. He'll message me at 8:30 after wake up, it's God knows who. Whiskey spilled all over the desk. But again, that inspires me. And he'll be like, emergency meeting in my room, emergency meeting. So I'll go to his room and say, what's the emergency? And he'll bring up tiny issues with the business that, you know, I could have slept on quite happily. But again, it's like me doing the exercise when he won't. It pushes me to be a better person. And Andrew will happily work 15, 16 hours a day and then go out and spend 4 or 5 hours having fun and blowing loads of money. It doesn't come from the sky. It's not magic. We're not trust fund kids. We didn't win the lottery. He is the hardest working man I have ever met. And the fact that I can even live with him and try to keep up is a testament to me, because it's difficult, you know?
Exactly. So you have to make life hard for yourself, because no one else is going to do it. No one else. I'm certainly not going to come into your room at 7:30 and kick your door down and say, I don't know what your name is, Steven from Los Angeles, it's time to get your life in order. Let's get up. Let's hit the gym. You're not going to, that's not, I don't care about you. No one cares about you that much. You should care about yourself that much. And in which case you can't let women make you feel too comfortable, because it's not something they do on purpose to stop us, but I feel like it's a woman's natural instinct to want as much of your energy as possible. Yeah. And she's happiest when she gets the most energy from you as possible. A woman wants nothing more than you to be at home with her all day long, talking to her all day long, watching movies with her all day long, and have sex with her 5 times a day. That's a woman's dream. And you know what? By all means, do that once you have $100 million. But don't do it now.
Well, you just have to understand that in life you can't do it alone. And you have to form some sort of team if you're going to get anywhere. You have to have good men around you and good friends around you. Every king had generals. Every soldier had the soldier to his left and right. You know, every single person who's won any great battle or any great victory or any great moral victory didn't do it by himself. He had other people with him. So if you're born with a man and you have exactly the same blood, exactly the same interests, the same last name, you have to be fighting for the exact same things. You can go your separate ways if you like. If you really hate your brother, if you really hate members of your family, I understand. But I don't see who else there was in life, especially many years ago when I didn't know anyone to team up with. So we've just always been a team. And we've never even thought about it, never planned it. It just naturally happened. I think that's what God made brothers for. If a girl offers to split the bill, which they don't, but if a girl does offer to split the bill, it means I see you as my friend. This is not a date. Right. So if a woman ever says, hey, you know, can I you know, pay for half the drinks, that means, Tristan, I'm not interested. I only see you as a friend.
It's a defense mechanism, I'd say.
So you're doing it to yourself. Yeah. Oh, we're just friends. That's what you're trying to signal.
You're putting yourself in the friend zone.
By telling her to split the bill with you, which is stupid. It's very stupid. And let's be honest, not a lot of guys go to the places I go. What's splitting the bill? $30, $40? Right. And you're seriously going to try and impress me with this bullshit? I made her split the bill. Yeah, I guarantee you didn't do anything else with her that night.
I ran a business with my brother that failed before I was 21 years old. That qualified me more to run a successful business than anyone who from age 18 to 23 studied business at university for 5 years and got a master's in business. Me, having run my one failed company, was more qualified to run a successful company after that than they were, because the person who they learned from at university doesn't run successful companies. It's just a bunch of book learning. It's a bunch of theory that isn't really applicable to real business, in my opinion.
you know, when you're a high net worth individual, the way things are owned is very tricky. You know, you don't want, you know, no high net worth individual has everything in his name. Let's just put it that way. It's complicated the way things are owned. So sometimes people will ask me, there'll be 5 cars on the drive, and, you know, girls especially who are naive to these things will be like, which ones are yours and which ones are Andrew's? My honest answer is I don't actually know. I have to look at the papers to work out exactly what, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The keys are in this box, in that room, and we can drive them whenever we like. And we never argue. It's just so many. You know, and when you build that abundance and you build yourself to the level of wealth me and Andrew are at, what are we going to argue about? There were times when we were kickboxing where we didn't have money for food. We used to eat cans of sardines, and there have been times splitting our last can over plain rice. So now people are like, oh, it's weird that you share a house with your brother. I'm like, it's weird that you don't. You know, I used to share my last can of food with him, and now we can't live in the same house. I've got 9 bedrooms. It's not like we're cramped for space. And otherwise, we just live in 2 separate houses with 4.5 bedrooms each. And we'll drive to each other's houses every day. It wouldn't make sense.
Unless you owe a moral duty to that person, by which I mean, unless that person is your mother or your father or somebody who has helped you or somebody who has coached you or somebody who has taught you, don't go around trying to fix broken people. A mentor of mine has a saying, I don't fix broken birds. And what he means by that is, if you don't succeed, the bird's going to die in your hands anyway. And if you do, it's just going to fly away. Broken people are broken people for a reason. I understand certain levels of effort if you owe them, you know, if you have a sense of moral obligation towards them. But if you don't, then honestly, don't waste your time trying to fix broken people. There's no hope for a lot of people in the world. And a lot of people in the world are never going to make it, and they're never going to escape the mindset that keeps them in the matrix. I'd network with better people.
When I was 17, 18, I was shy. It wasn't so much with business networking because I didn't know anybody important, but I was shy to go up and talk to girls and stuff. And without the internet and without dating apps and all the little cheat codes that shy people use and men use now, they're crutches that people lean on, I just understood I'm not going to ever get laid if I don't go up and talk to that girl. So the advice I have for people who are too shy to put themselves out there, too shy to approach women, too shy to, you know, try to, you know, pitch a business deal to somebody important, then good, have fun staying poor and lonely. You know, because it's when you're, especially when you're young, it's not easy. And it does take some balls, but just go and do it anyway. You know, the worst that people can do is say no. That was something in my mind, actually. People used to tell me that. Go talk to the girl. The worst you can do is say no. And that was it. Sometimes they'd say no.
Making money isn't everyone's purpose, but money makes everything about life better. I do understand people who say, oh, my goal in life isn't making money. There are other things that I like doing. And I always say, okay, tell me what those things are. Yeah. And if they say, oh, I like helping people, I say, imagine how many more people you could help if you had $100 million.
That's so
true. If they say, well, I just want to spend time with my family, you know, I don't want to be slaving away and making all this money. If I have enough money to live, I just want to spend time with my family and relax and raise my kids. I'm like, imagine how much time you could spend with your family and how much time you could spend with your kids if you had $100 million.
And you give them the best life.
Yeah, so money does make everything better, but no, it isn't everyone's purpose. I get people who want to live in a small cabin, you know, in the woods and fish for their food and just, you know, live without headache and, you know, have a wife and have their kids, just live off the land. Yeah, I completely get that. I completely get that, you know. I'm not going to walk up to the Bedouin people in the UAE and say, you need to make more money, bro, because they're very happy, content people. They've got their wives, they've got their kids, they've got their lifestyle, they've got their way of living, and it's very wholesome and it's very nice, you know. And they feel richer than a lot of people here in the West.
What people need to understand is 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, women have decided whether they're going to have sex with you before the date. They really have. You know,
whether their legs are shaved.
Exactly. Exactly. So you spoke to her, she finds you charming. She'll think, you know what, there's a possibility I'm going to fuck this guy tonight. She'll put on her best lingerie, you know, like she said, shave your legs, get ready. And if she's got ready, you have a very, very good chance of having sex. But there are some times where I've been talking to a girl for maybe a month, and we have our second date or first date. And I'm like, you know what, this one's in the bag. And it gets to 11 o'clock and she's like, you know what, I'm going to have to get up early tomorrow. I should really get a taxi home. I'm the least pushy man. There's nothing attractive about being pushy because you don't understand her. Maybe she's on her period and she doesn't want to have sex with you. You know, maybe it's vulgar to a lot of guys listening or you don't want to hear, but maybe she's on her period. It's that time of the month and she thinks, you know what, I'd love to fuck Tristan, but I'm just not going to do that tonight in his house. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be ashamed. Me being pushy is just going to undo the month of hard work that I've done being charming and being nice and being kind because I'm not getting laid. So, first circumstance, you don't go home with her. Yeah, always be a gentleman.
Right.
Don't worry, let me get you a taxi home. Because why would you burn the hard work you've done and not bother setting up a second date? But it's not just that. I would just rather be nice.
There was a time when me and Andrew could barely pay the rent. He was training and he was fighting full time. He was a kickboxing one-time world champion, I think, at the time. And I was selling windows. I'm a great salesman. So I was bringing home 1,000 plus British pounds per week. He didn't tell you this story, did he?
No,
Okay,
he said it was a window
He
sale.
said he saw a window, but not the one you bring in.
Yeah,
But he didn't say he was balling out, making 1,000 a week.
No, I mean, that's not balling out. I think these 3 glasses of whiskey cost about 1,000. But I was making about 1,000 British pounds a week. Andrew had a previous sales experience. I was at the time working in sales, and Andrew was just living off his fight money. So I would come home every day. I say, I made this much sales, etc. I'll pay the rent. You keep fighting, because I was helping to support his kickboxing. One day, Andrew looks at me and he says, Tristan, I'm just going to start selling for the same company you're selling for. We could bring $2,000-$3,000 into the house a week. We'll have a good life. We'll make money. And I said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, because if you are spending all your time chasing sales leads and knocking on people's doors like I am, then you're never going to find the time to discover something better, to discover something that's going to take us out of this crappy apartment, it's going to take us out of this crappy life. So even back then, when I was willing to work away selling windows instead of kickbox, because I got paid almost nothing, I was the European champion at my height. Most I ever got paid was £1,000 a fight. I knew that wasn't the financially viable option for me. I was willing to sell windows to let Andrew continue to have time to train, but also have time to think. So now, everyone's like, oh, well, he's the face of this online persona, and you guys make a lot of money for it. I'm like, I'm fine behind the scenes. I'm perfectly happy. I'm not missing anything from my life with my 2 million Twitter followers that I need 6.8 million to fulfill. People will often try to, I guess, pit me against Andrew, which is the stupidest idea in the world. But they'll say stupid things to me like, your brother's more famous than you. And I'll say, yeah, my brother's more famous than you. Like, what's the big deal? If your brother were Mike Tyson, for example, and someone said your brother's a better boxer than you, you'd be like, yeah, my brother's Mike Tyson. What it's this strange type of jealousy and envy that I think a lot of men can't cope with, that makes them drag each other down, like crabs in a bucket. If my brother became, I don't know, a billionaire, the world's richest man, and I had to stay at this level, I'd be like, yeah, my brother's the world's richest man. I'd be proud of him. And I don't see anything wrong with that. It's not a competition. We're a team.
I think it definitely becomes more difficult as you and your brother have just risen to this point of fame. Everybody wants to do business with you. Everyone wants to be associated with you, or maybe just people want to be seen with you for clout.
Yes, and another one is, and this, and I don't apologize for saying this, how rich is that person? Mm-hmm. How rich are they? How successful are they? If someone drives a Bugatti and owns tigers, like a lot of people do here, and said, Tristan, I want to meet you and your brother and talk business. I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't need to make $1 million. $1 million doesn't mean anything to this guy. Let's listen to what he says. When somebody who's flat broke says, I have an idea that will make us all a bunch of money, I'm like, you don't know what a bunch of money is. Because if I have the magic touch. Me and my brother could get involved in this broke guy's business. We could. And we could make it successful. And we could make $1 million a year. He'd make his $1 million a year. And he'd be so happy. He's got rich now because he's the business partner of the Tate brothers. I would have put time and effort into something and made less money than I sometimes make in a couple days. So how successful are they is a very big thing to do with how I make my decisions also. If someone's got a bunch of money and they're already successful, good, I'll talk to them, because then they want to make an amount of money that's going to matter to them. Therefore, I'm going to make an amount of money that's going to matter to me. So yeah, at this stage, it's no brokies. I'm sorry, guys. So all you young men sending me your business ideas on Instagram, do them yourself. Like, I'm not going to do your business with you. I'm just not.
Success with women is much like success in business or success in sports. It's down to you. It's personal accountability. And that's what a lot of guys want to throw out the window these days. And what they want to do is they want to blame women.
Right.
It's like failing in every business you've ever attempted and failing to make money, and then blaming capitalism, or failing in every boxing match or every American football game and NFL game you've ever played, and blaming the referees or blaming the rules. No, it's personal accountability and it's personal responsibility. And when you see guys out there who say like all women are garbage, I believe them. Because I believe all the women they get to meet are garbage.
Right.
Because they're bottom feeders. They're low-tier men, and they're attracting low-tier women. And low-tier people of all sorts attract each other. Low-tier men have low-tier male friends, they get low-tier girlfriends, and I believe the women they meet are garbage. They don't get to operate at my level, and they don't get to see how wonderful women truly are. Because I'm picking the fruit at the top of the tree. So I think a lot of these guys need to really, really look in the mirror, as I do. And sometimes I look at myself and think, Tristan, okay, you're a little out of shape. Tristan, okay, you know, you've been sleeping too much, you've been partying too hard, you got bags under your eyes, you've been, you know, you're letting yourself go a bit, and you have to keep yourself in check. You have to stay at the very top, and if you don't stay at your very top, you're not competitive anymore. Every single species on the whole planet is exactly the same. Every single female of every single species looks at the most competitive males and thinks those are the ones I want to have my children. And women, human women, are exactly the same. So if you're not having the success with women that you want, don't go out there trying to blame women, and don't go out there trying to change women. There are these big movements trying to change. Yeah, they're trying to change women.
22-year-old guys watching this. How can I get better in fashion? What tips could you give them?
Oh, there's one tip. There's one tip that overrules absolutely everything. Be in shape. The person who makes my suits is the same person who makes the suits of King Charles of England. Now, I have nothing bad really to say about King Charles, but he looks worse in his suits than I look in my suits. They're made by the same people. Why? Because I'm in good shape. A suit is all about how it fits you. It's not about, I have to be Tristan Tate, I'm going to go to Savile Row in London and I'm going to buy a $10,000 suit. No, get into good shape, buy a Hugo Boss suit. For a couple $100, maybe $1,000, you could put one together. Have your mother, have someone you know with a sewing machine, you know, taper it in a little bit at the sides, make sure that the leg is the exact right length. But if you are shaped like a man in good shape, the suit's gonna look good on you. There's no way you can be obese, lazy, out of shape individual and go to my tailor and come out of my tailor shop, regardless of how much you spend, looking like me. Be in shape is the #1 fashion advice I give to anyone. It's the old Versace t-shirt, you know, on a big fat guy versus just a plain $5 t-shirt on a guy who's in decent shape. That's my advice to young men. Be in good shape and buy clothes that fit you. That overrules absolutely every single fashion rule that anyone could give. It's very interesting to think that the first man ever banned from discussion in UK public schools is Andrew Tate. Adolf Hitler, you were allowed to talk about him during World War II and after World War II. The leader of Argentina during the Falklands War, Osama bin Laden after 9/11. Terrorists, school shooters, the 7/7 bombers who attacked the subway in London. You were allowed to discuss all these people in school. The first man ever to be banned is a mixed race, a half-black kid from the projects who came up out of the projects and became a multimillionaire. Maybe they just want the working class to stay the working class. Maybe they don't want people like him opening his mouth. Maybe it's because he joked that men are better drivers than women, and he's a misogynist. I don't think it's the third option. I think it's either option 1 or option 2. I think he's dangerous to what people want to purport in the society.
I'm not really one to feel sorry for people that much. Because of the way that the internet has changed the world, I believe that people have positive role models and examples thrown in their face all the time. I feel like to sit back and say, oh, well, you know, I'm just a video game porn addicted playing, you know, guy with no muscles and no physique and no physicality. Oh, well, it's because I haven't got a positive role model. I feel like today isn't an excuse. I feel like that every single second that you're scrolling on your phone or looking at Instagram, etc., there are dudes out there, you know, even so much as selling little coaching calls or courses, or you know, who you'd want to be like. But it's easy. It's easier to sit around and play video games and masturbate than it is to get the money to buy real supercars and seduce beautiful women in the real world. It is much easier, and because it's easier, I feel like a lot of people don't want to weigh out. So I don't need to give them advice. I feel like the advice is out there. If you're watching this and that describes you, good. At least you're listening to people with a healthy mindset who maybe can inspire you a little bit to try to be like that. But the type of person who really needs this advice and isn't going to get it is never going to watch this podcast. They're not going to look at the photo of you there with your shoulders, etc., standing next to me with all my whatever car I'm next to and think, I'm going to listen to these two. So those people aren't watching. So we don't need to worry about them, you know?
Different things work for different people. I think for that, as long as you're playing to your strengths, that's what you should do. I mean, there are people, let's take Floyd Mayweather. I've heard people laugh at Floyd Mayweather and be like, oh, Floyd Mayweather, he can't even read and write properly. And I'm like, well, he became a billionaire. Still, so how dumb is he? If you're broke saying, oh, Floyd Mayweather can't read or write, he became a billionaire. through not just fighting, but obviously owning his own promotions company. Again, it's intellect applied to the real world. Does he have the same type of intellect as Elon Musk? No. Albert Einstein that once said, if you measure all the animals' intellect by their ability to climb trees, you'll have a goldfish in a bowl who will sit and believe his whole life that he's an idiot. You're measuring people on different things.
With the wrong tests.
Yeah, so I mean, people like Floyd Mayweather, again, it's intellect applied to the real world. So how is he not smarter than some brokey sitting at home being like, Floyd Mayweather's dumb?
I am building a castle in Romania, about 900 meters away from Dracula's historic castle, up on the hillside behind him. And the reason I'm building that castle is because I think that rich people are boring. Rich people are boring. Rich people want to go to the ski slopes, hire a bunch of hookers, sniff a bunch of cocaine, sit on a boat with a bunch of cocaine and a bunch of hookers. And I don't understand why they all do the same thing. I have decided to build a Gothic castle in the heart of Transylvania because I want a castle. Doesn't every boy want a castle? You know, that part of me never died. I have the money, I have the means to do it, so I am building a castle. Now, this question specifically is somebody asking, why don't I make my castle a hotel? And I'm going to answer you exactly why I do. One reason is I promised the local mayor that I wouldn't. There are lots of hotels around the area of Dracula's castle. It's a small village of a population of only 5,000, and the local people run their hotels and they control the tourism and the commerce. I have promised not to make my castle a hotel because I don't want to take any business or any money away from the local people. But two, and most importantly, get your own fucking castle. Oh, you want me to make it a hotel so I can spend $15 million in 4 years of stress building an epic castle, and for a few $100 a night, you could come along and run around it and take your Instagram pictures. No access. Get your own. I'm gonna have armed guards armed with crossbows in full armor patrolling the castle walls with rabid dogs inside ready to tear intruders apart. It is mine. That's why I don't want to make it into a hotel, because I don't need anyone's fucking money. I don't need $1,000 a night, $2,000 a night. Oh, you want to have your wedding there? You want to shoot a music video there? How about build your own castle? Because mine is for me. I want to walk around butt naked, swirling a huge glass of brandy with 5 vampire girls all dressed up with their fangs on and shit. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't even know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do it, not you. So no, my castle is not going to become a hotel.
Yeah, don't let them hold you back. Don't let them hold you back. I have friends that could hold me back, even today, but I don't let them. I have friends where if I hung around with them every day, I would not be in the position that I am in. I've certainly had women in relationships where if I did whatever she wanted, I would not be where I am today. You know, even little things. Sometimes you wake up at 7 a.m., you want to be in the gym by 8. She starts, reaching down your pants and stuff. It's just like, sometimes just get up, say no, hit the gym, have your shower, tell her you'll see her tonight and get to work. As opposed to, okay, all right, fine. One more round, then it's 8 o'clock, then a little nap, then it's 10, then it's, oh, do you want breakfast? Oh yeah, I'd love it if you make me breakfast. Then it's 11, nothing productive has happened. Exactly. You have to be the man in your relationship. And if you're the man, you do what needs to be done, not necessarily what you want to do. So, I'm not saying you have to break up with your girlfriend. I'm saying you have to change the dynamic. She's not the boss of you, even when things are pleasurable and nice. Because believe me, if I could be in the exact same physical condition, the exact same financial condition, and all I had to do was lay around on my couch with beautiful women watching Netflix and getting blowjobs, believe me, I'd do that. But you can't. No. That isn't an option. So, don't let your girlfriend make you feel too comfortable. And just don't fall into the trap of enjoying it too much and enjoying the pleasure too much. Make room in your life for the discomfort.
Your special gift is you've mastered the art of not giving a fuck. Yeah. So what is that all about?
Well, I'd say it's not giving a fuck in the way that, because I know people who don't give a fuck. Their life sucks. They don't work out. They don't care about their own health, happiness, wealth, work. Not in a degenerate, I'm a bum kind of way. I'll give you a better example, because I know exactly what he means. I feel like, because I am his younger brother, every great general who sits at a table with his staff needs that one fearless guy with him. You know, he needs people who preach prudence and being careful. And we have those people, believe me. They're very, very loud in our ears every single day since getting out of jail. But, you know, if you're a great samurai general and you're sitting around the table, you also need that one guy who says, okay, there's 10,000 of them, there's 5 of us, okay, let's just go. It's more fearlessness than not giving a fuck. If I had played things my way since getting out of jail, me and Andrew would probably be back in jail right now. I'm censoring myself on this podcast, but the first day I got out, I thought, you know what, screw it, just put a camera on, just tell the whole world what's going on, and let them take me away live on stream. That's me. So luckily he keeps me in check, but also I feel like I can inspire him to make a few bolder and braver decisions in life because of my counsel. So I'm very much one of his councilmen, but he does need me at the table. Without that guy, you're just gonna be a pussy, you know?
When I was young and flat broke, because people will say, oh, you pay for the Ubers, or maybe I'll even get a girl a flight ticket to come to Bucharest, to come to my house and see me. And people will say that's simping. I'm like, well, you know, for the price of the flight ticket, you don't know what I'm getting. Right. But when I was young and broke, there was obviously no gold digging involved. I didn't have, I slept on a mattress on the floor. But if a girl was coming around to see me at night, I'd pay for her taxi. My last 5, 6, 7 pounds. Because, you know, it's £7 and I get 8 hours of entertainment. Right. So, again, it's a very fair exchange of value. And I think that if you want to act tough and, you know, hold frame and ask a girl to split a bill, or, you know, make a girl pay for her own taxi and don't even offer, if she does go to bed with you, she's a low-quality woman. She's just some dickhead hoe who'll do anything for dick. Right. And, you know, some guys may get laid that way, but you certainly wouldn't with the quality of women that I hang out with.
Have you got any advice for 21-year-olds who, I guess, seem pretty lost and they don't really know which direction to go in? What would you offer to those guys in terms of advice?
Oh, I've got loads of pieces of advice. Loads. If you don't know what to do, don't go to university. Yeah. That's the first thing. If you know what you want to do and you need a university degree to do it, then obviously pursue that. If you don't know what you want to do, going to university is going to burn 3 or 4 years of your time and likely get you into a bunch of debt and a bunch of trouble that you don't need. If you don't know what you're doing, avoid university. Step number 1. 2, young men who are lost. What can I say? Don't waste
time.
Yeah, don't waste time on frivolous pursuits. Stop trying to live like the man unless you've actually become the man first. And that means women. Stop trying to get laid all the time and get beautiful women. Because if you are a nobody, the time and effort it's going to take into convincing a really beautiful woman to go to bed with you is much less time than it would take me or Mike, because we are a somebody already. So you're burning your hours. Don't chase women too much. Don't chase having fun too much. Don't chase clout too much. Don't try to be seen in cool places that you can't actually afford to be in. You know, Dubai is actually a very interesting example of this. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but that's all good advice. It's simple. Dubai is a very good example of this because Dubai is a place where people can look like they're doing something big when they're doing absolutely nothing at all. Mm-hmm. There are hotels in Dubai, like the hotels I stay at, that are 1, 2, 3 grand a day, 10 grand a day. They do exist. And there are also hotels in Dubai up near the old town where, you know, the laborers and the workers stay that cost $35, $40, $50 a day. That does happen. You could fly to Dubai, and people do this. Men do this with no money, because men don't have the ability to just, you know, hit dating apps in Dubai and live the good life. They come to Dubai with their friends. They have no money in their pockets. They have a nice shirt that they'll wear, fine. And they'll take a taxi from their really cheap hotel down to downtown, picture in front of the Burj Khalifa, click, picture in front of a Lamborghini, click. Now they're a guy with a picture in front of a Lamborghini in Dubai. They're a guy who hangs out in Dubai now. He's at the Burj Khalifa. He makes less than $1,000 a month, probably. You know, people do this. They literally clout chase based on location. And that is the biggest waste of time that I've ever heard of. You know, go on a vacation within your budget and have fun with your friends, by all means, and take your mind off trying to be somebody. But yeah, people pretend too hard today. And the effort it takes to pretend short term will make you look richer or cooler or more successful than you are. But if you take all the time that you spend pretending and actually invest it into trying to become what you're pretending to be, you'll get there. Yeah. But it will take, again, 3, 4, 5 years, and people don't want to do it.
Dubai has everything. It's a wonderful place. The United Arab Emirates is a wonderful place. And Saudi Arabia has opened up recently. And give it 5, 6, 7 years, they've got the money. Saudi Arabia is going to have nice, clean, beautiful, pretty, safe cities that every millionaire or billionaire in the world can enjoy. And they can go there and enjoy the amenities and live their life without the threat of some psychopath on the subway trying to attack you. And then if you defend yourself, what happens to you? Maybe 20 years, we're about to find out. In 2 cases. It's sickening. So I think that and I'll give the credit to religion. I'll give the credit to the Islamic faith. They don't want that bullshit in their country. They don't want their kids being taught immorality in the schools.